Hello, welcome to the weather update. It is almost 10 o'clock on March 9th, 2023, and thought there was going to be a lot of clouds today around. And there was definitely less clouds. It wasn't completely clear, but definitely we had some clear moments. This is what the high-resolution satellite looked like around late this morning. You could see just a few scattered clouds around. And then if you look over New Jersey, you could actually see smoke from some controlled burns that they're actually doing in the Pine Barrens over there. They've been very busy with that, as they always are. I wish we were doing that on Long Island, but we're not. And so, looking at our satellite loop, this is our satellite loop. So you could see, again, we had some scattered clouds, but then it was clear for a while there. Look at that. Wow, you can actually see the smoke from those controlled burns very well. Look at that. Take a look. Look right there. Look at that. Wow. So they got some big controlled burns going on in the Pine Barrens there. It's kind of surprising given the wind that they actually did have controlled burns there, but they did. No actual wildfires to speak of. If we go to the New Jersey Forest Fire Service here, you'll see they'll have maps of controlled burns. So if we go here, you'll see they're doing some right here. So it looks like they're doing a pretty big one right in these woods right here. Looks like this is a pretty big one, active prescribed burn. So, again, I wish we were doing that on Long Island, but, again, New York State does not want to... Looks like Jake's Branch might actually have a controlled burn, too. Let's see. That's Jake's Branch right there. It looks like there is a prescribed burn is going to be scheduled for Jake's Branch within the next 5 days. So, again, they do this in New Jersey. That's how they keep the woods healthy. And we don't do that here. Like I said, we do very little, which is very unfortunate. But anyway, so that kind of explains the prescribed burns here. So basically, fire is a natural cycle in the Pine Barrens. It happens especially in March. So what they're doing is they're having it happen in a controlled manner. And you can see there, versus an uncontrolled manner, all right? And whereas we just don't do it at all. So, when it happens, it's going to be uncontrolled, unfortunately. So unfortunately, I could have actually gone for a Pine Barrens hike today, but I was only spent a little bit of time in Pineland this afternoon. You could see this what the sky looked like. There were some scattered clouds around, but it was a pretty nice day all in all. I should have gone for a bigger hike, but I didn't. I did a lot of walking, but I didn't go for a big hike in the Pine Barrens like I wanted to. I was hoping to get it done the past couple of days, but just didn't happen. You have to gauge, and there was a lot of clouds around at 10 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, you can see the cirrus. That's from the next system that's coming off to the west. As that storm out to sea finally moves away. If we go to the MODIS, let's go back to the MODIS here. We'll pull this out a little bit. This big storm out here it is here. So it's finally going to start moving away. This big storm is going to be moving east. This is what's been keeping us dry. This is going to allow for this system here to move in and bring us some precipitation. I'm curious. Let's see if we can get some more. Here it shows up even nicer here. The controlled burn. So yeah, look at that. That's a really nice controlled burn that they got going there. So it's very good that they're doing that in New Jersey Pine Barrens. Like I said, I wish we were doing that. You can see over Long Island just some very scattered clouds. It wasn't completely clear, but yeah, like I said, it was definitely less clouds than yesterday. So let's go to the weather map here, and you'll see that we have a big area of low pressure. This is causing a lot of flooding in the south. We have excessive rainfall risks in these areas here. High excessive rainfall in the south. So if we go here and we look at this, you'll see that excessive rainfall risk there. That is for the south. And if we go to tomorrow, actually Saturday, you'll see you can see that now it shifts out west. That we're going to have an excessive rainfall on top of all that snow. That's not going to be good at all for the flooding. There could be a lot of flooding out there in California. But we've got this storm now that we've got to watch. So you can see winter weather advisories are up to our northwest. We have some winter storm warnings over Wisconsin again. And you can see, look at all these, again, another storm in the west. It'll bring snow up into the high mountains and rain elsewhere. And, of course, strong winds. Looks like we see more wind advisories in effect for them, too. So getting into our area, you can see that winter weather advisories just to our north and west. Looking at the current temperatures out there, 39. We were above normal today, so not a surprise. But look at ice slip. We did hit 50, I believe, today, so it was above normal. despite the wind. Still got up to 50 degrees for a good part of the afternoon there. Pretty mild. But you can see less clouds. We had clouds around 10, but then look at what happened by the afternoon. It became mostly clear, so it could have actually, the sky would have been okay to do something. But you see here the northwest winds still pretty gusty. Not as bad as yesterday, though. Not as bad as yesterday. So let's go look at the highs and the lows for the day. Start with the highs. And let's get them on the, so around 50 on Long Island. Wow, 52 actually in West Hampton. So, yeah, above normal. And, of course, mid-50s in New Jersey where it's even warmer. And then you go to the northwest where it's a little bit cooler, but still above normal for the day. Let's look at the lows. And you'll see, the lows were even above normal. Didn't even get below freezing. Some maybe made it to freezing at West Hampton, and a few areas in New Jersey made it down a couple degrees below freezing, but nothing too impressive. We'll go to the climate outlook here for islip. And you'll see here we were above normal by quite a bit today. So 50, normal highs 46. So about 4 degrees above normal for today. So, I mean, it's significant, an above normal day, obviously. Again, not dramatically above normal, but still above normal. The only reason why I think it was colder yesterday was because of all the clouds. So you have a briefing here on the coastal storm for tomorrow. Most of the snow is going to be inland, where they could see some snow accumulation, where the winter weather advisory. I don't think we're going to see 1 to 3 inches. I don't think it's going to happen. We'll look at the models, see if anything has changed since then. But again, we're dealing with, very marginal cold air here, and I don't think it's going to be that much at all. Obviously, you must be looking at the Euro. I don't understand why people love the Euro so much. It's had such a terrible track record this winter. But anyway, so let's go to the radar for the country first of all. You can see this is the storm system that's heading our way. You can see, again, the low is in the Great Lakes. There's the front there, some thunderstorms. And again, this is bringing some heavy rain to certain areas in the south that are dealing with some flooding, unfortunately. And then look at California. Again, here we go. This is it's mostly north of L.A., but some heavy rain here going on in California. Heavy rain. Wouldn't even be surprised to see some thunderstorms here. This is going to cause mudslides and flooding and all kinds of hell breaking loose once again out there. And also another heavier batch of precipitation in the Pacific Northwest between Portland and Seattle. So let's just look at the radar. We're going to change the satellite for a little bit. Let's change this to the Pacific Northwest. And we'll go U.S. Pacific Coast, and we'll change this to flash intensity. So, yeah, I see lightning strikes. So this is the kind of stuff that you're dealing with here. You got those lightning strikes out there over the oceans. This is, again, Pineapple Express. If we close this out, you'll see it says, an atmospheric river known as the Pineapple Express is taking aim at California. So it's saying that right here in the AccuWeather. So here we go again. That's all I got to say for California. It's awful. So let's go to the models, and we will take a look and show you what we have. So we have the 18Z GFS before us right now, and you'll see there's that storm crashing into California again in the Pacific Northwest. So that storm system way out there finally moves away. That high, unfortunately, like I said, that high would be great if that high would have just come straight down from Canada. We would have had a beautiful, clear stretch of weather, but that didn't happen. And here comes the next storm system here that's going to be coming along. And clouds over tomorrow and mixed precipitation. Well, probably mainly rain. It will start as rain, and then as the evening gets on and some colder air moves in, perhaps by morning we might see a little snow on the back edge. So you can see it redevelops the coastal low offshore, and you can see Saturday we're still dealing with some precipitation, at least for the first part of the day. And then this is the GFS, and you can see it kind of dives at southeast. A very unusual look to that. Very unusual look to see. Again, to have it just dive southeast instead of going north, south, south, north. It's because of the blocking that you have, again, that's forcing it in that direction. Fair weather for Sunday. Then the next system comes, and this low is off the Carolinas. And this low, actually, this one's a little more interesting, I think. So this is what happens here. So again, increasing clouds for Monday, chance of rain, and then the low Monday night and the Tuesday. This low really winds up and gets cranking, and it brings it up into Boston, and they could have a real nice heavy snowfall on in the Cape. But with this type of thing, we probably wouldn't see much at all from this. But there would be a huge snowstorm in New England, and look at how deep that low is. And you can see it kind of just takes its time there, moving out. So here we are Wednesday, still dealing with it, slowly moving away. It's still kind of off Maine there in the Gulf of Maine on Wednesday. And then it finally starts moving away by Thursday. Now, the models have different opinions on this, as you know. And then you see there's another, so still a lot of storminess. And then maybe we could finally get a big, broad area high pressure eventually to give us some fair weather. I mean, it's just a lot of storms we've been having. But that's because the storm West Coast, it just moves, we've got a lot of storms off the West Coast, So you just move across the country. So that's one model. We can now go to some of the other models. We'll go to the Icon model here. This is, again, the 18Z Icon model here. And the Icon model, this is the first storm. You can see there's pretty much an agreement on the first storm here. All right, that's the first storm. The second storm is where things are a little different. So this is the Icon, and you can see it's much more tucked in. Still has heavy rain and a really very powerful nor'easter over us to overnight Tuesday morning. And it kind of just it makes it sit there. Here we are Tuesday. So the Euro, like the European, is very slow and deeper with this and more tucked in than the GFS. So let's go to the European now. It's the 18Z European. This is your first storm. So we're in agreement on the first storm. The second storm is where, this is the 18Z. It doesn't go as far enough out. We have to use the 12Z. But look at what the 12Z does. So it really, look at how deep this thing gets. I mean, it's incredibly deep, really deep, and it would be a really nasty day Tuesday. The question is, would that be snow or rain at this point? Because, again, we have marginal cold air, but if the precipitation's heavy enough, it could be snow with that type of position there. And it's sitting over the Cape and then kind of does a loop-de-loop. It's still sitting offshore Wednesday and then finally moves away on Thursday. So it gets it kind of cut off over there. It cuts it off over there. All right. So back to the GFS we go. Let's go back to the GFS. And now we're going to go and look at the upper air. And I'm going to move this along to the North American view and the jet stream. All right. Show you what's going on. So let's move this back over here. So you see we don't really have a big trough in the east. You see that trough offshore there. But more or less across the country, it's a zonal flow. There's your fire hose in the Pacific there. The only reason we're not baking is because of that block over Greenland. All right, so there's your first storm there, and then the second storm there. All right, you can see it kind of cuts off a little bit. See that there? Kind of cuts off. All right, but it's more dramatic on the European model. And then you can see here some signs there, some more troughiness and storminess as you get through the end of the month. We got two chances for some snow here. We'll see. So let's go to the European model. We'll look at the 12Z European. All right, because the European's a little bit different, all right, especially for next week. So the European has much, much bigger trough over us. You can see that, much bigger trough, so the low kind of gets stuck in it. All right, and then there's another trough that comes in behind us. The European's definitely less zonal and a lot more amplified than the GFS. Icon, no, we don't have. Icon doesn't give us jet streams, right? All right, so let's go to upper air. Oh, it doesn't give us upper air either. Okay, so let's go back to the GFS, and we'll go to the upper air. So here we go into the morning. You can see there's that storm transferring its energy offshore, but it moves offshore because of the blocking influence. But that sets the stage and digs the trough for the next storm to be a little deeper. But again, the GFS kind of just moves it along and doesn't really have it create a huge trough there. You can see there, but we do have the continued troughiness in the east, and then it actually tries to build a ridge in the west as we get toward the end of the month, and that looks like a pretty decent drop of cold air right there, maybe. So let's go to the European now. Keep it in there. European. Somebody's like moving stuff around and kind of made a really something moved around in there. I don't know what. Let's go to the upper air. Moved around in the closet. I'll have to see. I don't know. I heard something. It startled me. But anyway, so here we are for again. There's your first storm there. Not too big of a difference, but the second storm is much, much, much deeper with the European and a much bigger trough there versus the GFS, and that can make all the difference in the world. All right, so it's something that we'll have to watch for. Let's go to the CONUS view, and I'm going to go to the GFS, and we'll look at our temperature anomaly chart here. All right, so you'll see as we go into tomorrow, we are near normal. You can see as we go into Saturday, still a little bit above normal there. Then we go a little bit below normal by the afternoon. Like I said, no really tremendously cold air. That's the issue that we have. No real tremendously cold air, though. It looks like we do try to get some colder air in Tuesday into Wednesday, perhaps. And then it's showing, again, cold air just diving straight down. We're trying to look for some Arctic air here, but unfortunately, I don't see any coming down toward us yet. This is the GFS, but now we'll look at the European model. And we'll go to the 12Z European model. Even though, like I said, I have a tendency to believe the GFS more in the short range. Long range, anything goes. Here's the European. So it still shows temperatures near normal Saturday, a little colder. And that's what we have to watch for the temperatures, because it is showing something. The European and the GFS both agree that around the first day of spring there might be an outbreak of some polar air. Perhaps. Wouldn't that be nice? So let's go closer to our area now. We covered kind of the long range here. I want to really get back to the short range and talk about this storm. So let's go to the that we have it in the short range models. Let's go to the GFS here. Bring this back over here to actually look at the radar simulation here. So this is the radar simulation again for tomorrow. You can see light mixed precipitation, but it looks like we might have quite a rainy evening, perhaps. Even after like 5 or 6 o'clock, we'll be dealing with heavy rain. That's going to suck. You can see they got the yellow over us there. So heavy rain through the night. Then as it moves south, we might get some cold air in there that might introduce some snow. But the issue is, we'll go to the soundings here. Here's the sounding at 0Z. And the issue is, let's see, it's actually below freezing aloft. So aloft, the levels are cold, but the temperatures at the surface are an issue. But if it comes down heavy enough, we might actually see some snow mix in, just because of the dynamic cooling. So it's possible. So there's that low. This is, again, the GFS. You can see as it moves away, it gets pretty wrapped up there. And then we have fair weather for Sunday, but that doesn't last long. Here comes the next system here, Monday. Clouds over, more rain. And this is the next system here. And like I said, it just really wraps it up over New England. That's what it does with this next system here. And it kind of has it sit there, too, for a little bit and then move away. The Euro is more dramatic with that. So, total rainfall. We'll go to the total rainfall first here. That the GFS is putting out here for the first system. You can see it's going to be a soaker. We're going to see over an inch of liquid equivalent. And then when the next system comes in, we probably get another inch of liquid equivalent on top of that, and perhaps 2 to 3 inches of liquid equivalent over New England. However, let's see what this is putting out for snowfall totals here. So here's your snowfall totals. Not showing much, like I said, baseline an inch or less, mainly on the grassy areas. That second system, though, that could be a real whopper for New England. A foot or more, perhaps, in many parts of Massachusetts with that second system. I think this, again, is the GFS with the second system that it's showing. All right. Let's now go to the temperatures. The dew points and wind flow. So I guess we'll go to the HRRR next. Let's do the HRRR. Let's do the HRRR 0Z. And like I said, we got a lot to cover. Might even have to take a break in this video because there's so much to cover. So here is a Friday. So we start off cloudy, and then some light rain moves in right around 7. Now, this is mainly lighter rain. I notice the GFS is much heavier with the rain. Here's the. It doesn't seem to bring in the heavier rain until like maybe after 9 or 10 o'clock here. Nothing really torrential or anything like that. But you'll see then the colder air starts mixing, and you start seeing it's trying to switch to snow there for the morning hours. But the issue is then you have the sun angles now that also make it on, and then you could have a scattered drizzly shower perhaps in the evening there with this HRRR. If we look at the total accumulated precipitation on the HRRR, you'll see not as impressive as the GFS. It's below 1 inch. It's generally between a half an inch and an inch. Total snowfall, again, barely anything here. All right. Let's go and look at the dew points and wind flow so you get an idea of what's happening here. So here we go for tomorrow. Light winds, obviously, tomorrow becoming easterly, then southeasterly. And they start picking up by the evening. And then we start seeing the winds really like after midnight. You'll start getting some stronger east winds as that coastal low gets going. But you'll see the dew points are above freezing. That's a problem, again, for snow. You generally want to see those surface dew points below freezing or at freezing. But you see some pretty strong winds there that are going to occur with this storm. And then it moves away. And then you have very strong winds Saturday night from the north. But again, dew points aren't that low. This is not polar air. Looking at the temperatures, that's the other issue we're fighting against tomorrow. We're probably going to have highs probably in the cooler than that, probably mid to upper 40s. You see tomorrow night we have the mid-30s, so probably when the precipitation starts, it'll be in the upper 30s. And we're staying in the mid-30s, but well above freezing. That's the issue at the surface. So by the time it gets to the surface, it's just, I don't see it sticking that much. I really don't. With these temperatures, are just they aren't great, and all the models are in agreement with these temperatures. We can look at the GFS, same deal here. With the GFS, see those temperatures there, right? That we have, and then moving past, we'll go and we'll look at the dew point and wind flow past this storm. So here is once the storm get that northerly flow to start Sunday. We got a northerly flow in the morning, becoming east to northeast. Later on in the day, then becoming south, and then here comes the next system here. And this storm system again is going to bring some strong winds as well behind it. Here's Tuesday, and you can see those strong gusty west winds. And again, every model is different with this storm. The European wants to have it get stuck there. I think the European may have an issue with that, which is why I'm not really focusing too much on the Euro. I know there are a lot of people who are big fans of the European, but it hasn't been right at all. So it's like, it gets to the point where I don't want to waste my time with a model that's always constantly giving us big storms that are just, not happening, So the other issue, of course, is going to be the winds. So if we go and look at the winds, let's go to the winds. You'll see here are the winds tomorrow. So the worst of the winds tends to stay offshore, it looks like, because the storm, again, staying off to the south there. But it does become quite a monster out in the ocean there. You can see quite a monster. All right. Next, we go to the NAM, because I haven't got all the models yet. Now we go to the NAM, and we look at the NAM for precipitation. So here we go for the NAM. So tomorrow, again, here is the precipitation. Starts as rain right around here in the NAM. Again, like the GFS, seems to want to be a little heavier with the rain and giving us downpours perhaps. And again, maybe in some of those downpours, it might be cold enough for heavy enough to cool the column down. But again, not really showing much here as far as snowfall goes. And the rain ends by noon on Saturday, and then we're done with it. There's the very deep low pressure system there offshore. And then fair weather for Sunday for a little bit until this next system comes in. So, you can see the NAM is probably going to give us more heavier rain. So let's see total on that. Yeah, you see the brighter, that's more like between 1 and 1.5 inches. So it's more of a soaker. Again, I'm leaning toward it being more of a soaker because you get that coastal low, you got those warmer water temperatures. So again, yet another soaker, probably just another damn soaker that we're all sick of these damn rainstorms already. So let's, now that we covered all that, let's go back to the GFS. Actually, I'm going to go to the NAM 12. And I want to look at the FGen. So we're going to look at this. This is the other issue that we have here, is that we have most of the FGen is offshore, and it's really impressive offshore, but that's the issue. If you're looking for snow, you need this more over us, and we're not going to see that. So that's the issue with that. can also go to the GFS and look at this as well. See the same deal with that. All right. As far as the next system goes, you can see nothing really impressive here with that. All right. Now, European, I don't think it gives us that parameter. It does give us that parameter. Okay, good. Let's see what the European does for this next storm system here. So this is the European. This is the first storm system. So they're pretty much in agreement with that. The second storm system, that FGN, that comma head, gets closer to us, and that could be the snow. That could be the snow right there that we're looking for. So again, but this is the European, all right, not the GFS. Keep that, make that clear, all right. So let's go to the RGM next, and we're going to look at the skies. Obviously, plenty of clouds. Well, the clouds will be moving in tomorrow morning. You'll have the cirrus coming in, probably just as the sun rises, and then it's going to thicken, probably be overcast by noon, and then obviously clouds, the precipitation, right through Saturday, and that's as far as we got on this run of the RGM. All right, this is the 0Z run. If I want to go a little further and look at Sunday. Sunday might be a sunny day, but we're going to have to watch this cirrus and see how far it gets, as well as when those winds back off to the east, it might bring some of these clouds back in. But if the storm's a little stronger and stays there a little more and keeps those winds from the north, hopefully maybe we can maybe get a sunny day. Maybe. That's one model here just for the skies. I mean, I don't want to really use a whole bunch because I don't have that much. This is the NAM. And again, for Sunday, let's see if it shows us anything for Sunday. So you can see how we got that. The cirrus is like right over there. So this is the NAM, and the GFS is obviously very low resolution. So you can see there it starts off, but then that cirrus kind of rolls in. So we'll have to see. But Sunday's definitely going to be your better weekend day. Then after that, all bets are off as far as next week goes, depending on where that storm system is. All right, so I'm not going to even go that far. So let's go look at windy.com, which is the European model. And we can look at that and look at the European as far as the storm goes here. So, again, this is the storm offshore again. It's going to stay, like I said, the storm stays pretty far offshore here. All right. We can look at the new snow. We'll go to precipitation here. So this kind of shows, again, it's going to be tough. I mean, you might get some snow mixing in with the rain, but honestly, I just don't see that much of an accumulation here. And I think if it happens, it's going to happen Saturday morning when that storm moves further to the south, and we get some of that colder air in, perhaps. This is the European model, all right? I'm curious about the second system. That's what I'm curious about. So let's go to that second system again. This is a Monday system here. All right, so see some really heavy rain off to the south here. This is the Monday system, and then this new coastal forms right here, and then it actually gives us snow at 35 degrees, but it does have a pretty heavy snow over us there. But this, and again, this is the European doing this. This would give us a lot of wet slop is what it would give us. Let's just put this on the screen here. So we get to the next 5 days. Yeah, we got it up to next 5 days, so it's not showing anything right now. It is showing a lot upstate. Wow, 28.7 inches. I don't think that's from the first storm. That's from the second storm. For whatever reason, the temperatures are not right with this, and this only goes up to 5 days from now, which does take us to that point. So we'd have to see, but that second storm system definitely looks a little more interesting than this one because of where it's going to be, as far as getting the any snow here. But again, the models are kind of this far out. It's really hard to say what's going to happen. Let's go to the Eastern U.S. model. There we go. I already showed the icon, right? All right, let's look at the Canadian. So this is there's an agreement on this storm here. It's just going to be mainly rain it's going to be just more freaking rain again with this storm system. Because again, if you had the cold air, we don't have the cold air. And again, there's just not, the temperatures are just not there. I'm not buying it. Here's Sunday. And again, there's this system. This is the Canadian. And you can see It's this Canadian is even more tucked in into the left and just soaks us Monday night with some very heavy rain, and then pulls it over slowly away Tuesday. There it goes, slowly inching away there on Tuesday. But this would be a soaker if the Canadian was real. There would be a lot of wind here with this too as well. Tremendous amount of wind. Let's see. We have wind parameters here, so let's see. Yeah, this could be a lot of wind with this low as well. And then it would be a hell of a soaker. So if we look at total accumulated precip, as much as 5 inches of rain. Of course, this is the Canadian, so it might be a little too amplified here, but it just gets to show you what we're going to have to watch for. Unfortunately, it would be nice if we just had some cool, dry weather with a nice big high pressure system over us, but no, we can't have that. Well, snow would be nice, and then you have but no, we got to have these crazy bomb storms that just, because you have warmer than normal ocean, so it just causes that much more energy into the atmosphere. And that's what you get to deal with. So that's going to be it for this weather update, I guess. So, again, we'll have to watch for the storm tomorrow and see what happens. But, we have all the models here. We could go to Ventu Sky as well, which, again, uses the HRRR. And we'll look again at the storm tomorrow. I like these other sites because they kind of tropical tidbits is nice, but this kind of makes it a little prettier to look at, a little more in detail. So this is tomorrow night. Let's go to Saturday morning when that low gets cranking here. So you can see the winds here. That's what I want to visualize, these wind gusts. We could still have wind gusts up. We might need a wind advisory, at least for Suffolk County here. You can see those strong wind gusts there. Still dealing with them here at 8 in the morning. You can see, again, gusts up to 35. Here we are, 34, so it's going to be pretty breezy on Saturday. That's actually, I think we'll need that wind advisory. As far as the wave, we'll have some rough surf, too, I think. Nothing crazy, but we will have something. Remember, the storm is further away, so we won't have anything crazy to deal with. Now, we'll go to precipitation. Let's see if we can... this doesn't give snowfall, I don't think. Doesn't it? It gives a snow cover forecast. So you can see this is Saturday, and it's not really showing much snow here for us. That's why I just don't see it. I think the second storm has more potential for snow, and we'll have to see. But it all depends. Right now, the tracks are still kind of all over the place. We don't have an agreement on the models for that storm system. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up. So thank you for watching this weather update, and have a good night.